My name is Dr. Janet Kern, and I'm with the Coalition for Mercury-Free Drugs. Our goal is to get mercury out of vaccines. I am a neuroscientist, and I've been conducting clinical research in autism for the past 17 years. Autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by abnormal behavior and inability to talk and interact with others normally. Autism is now considered to be an epidemic. My research has provided me with an opportunity to work with hundreds of children with this disorder and talk with their parents. For 17 years, I have been listening to parents tell how their child was normal until a vaccine or vaccines. They all describe how their child lost the ability to talk, lost eye contact, and lost the ability to interact with others. I have studied toxicity in autism since 2005. My research and the research of several others finds that these affected children have higher levels of mercury in their bodies than typically developing children, and that the more mercury there is in their bodies, the worse the developmental problems that they have. I can also tell you, as a neuroscientist, that the brain pathology found in mercury intoxication and the brain pathology found in autism match exactly. Mercury selectively targets and destroys the long-range connections in the brain that bring the brain together and help us process information and understand our world. Mercury also activates the brain's immune system and causes chronic brain inflammation. These types of brain pathology are found in both autism and mercury poisoning. I wish that I could find the words to convey what it is like to listen to the parents year after year tell the same tragic story of how they lost the child that they knew, and to see these beautiful children that can no longer function normally in their world or to understand it. It is truly a travesty. Currently, in the United States, 1 in 6 children has a neurodevelopmental disorder. Knowing that we have had a safe and effective alternative to phenoxyethanol for many years makes it very difficult to understand how we continue to allow our children to be harmed in this way. I have been listening to the arguments presented by the pro-mercury NGOs that are here as to why we need to keep mercury in vaccines, and none of the arguments are valid or accurate. I would like to go over some of the arguments I have heard. First, they say there is no alternative that has been evaluated and has been shown to be safe and effective. This is not true. There is a safe and effective alternative available. Merck Pharmaceuticals evaluated 2-phenoxyethanol and found that it is safe and provides superior effectiveness to thimerosal, the mercury-based preservative. 2-phenoxyethanol has been used successfully in vaccines for many years. For example, it has been used in DPAT vaccine Infenrix since 1997. Moreover, 2-phenoxyethanol has been shown to allow the vaccine itself to be more effective than when it is given with the mercury-based preservative. A second argument I've heard is that the benefit of vaccines outweighs the theoretical risk of using thimerosal. To this I say, the risk of thimerosal is not theoretical. The use of mercury in vaccines is an unnecessary risk, and it is particularly unfair that the more wealthy countries that have banned mercury in vaccines do not have to incur the same risk for mercury as developing countries. Thirdly, they argue that multi-dose vials with thimerosal are needed because they require less storage than single-dose vials. This is particularly disturbing to me because the only way that the multi-dose vials of thimerosal would require less space than single-dose vaccines is if the vaccines are given by reusing syringes, and this is very unsafe. A fourth argument I have heard while I was here is adequate supplies of vaccines without thimerosal can't be made available in sufficient quantities, and some children would be unvaccinated and there would be a negative impact on health. This is not true. Many countries have banned thimerosal in vaccines. Russia, Denmark, Austria, Japan, Great Britain, and all of the Scandinavian countries. Many states in the U.S. have banned thimerosal. California, Delaware, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, New York, Washington, and Missouri. None of these countries or states have had any problems with supply, and none have experienced a negative impact on health. A fifth argument I have heard is we need thimerosal in vaccines in developing countries because they don't have refrigeration. However, according to the U.S. and European pharmacopoeia studies, thimerosal is ineffective as a preservative. We must keep in mind thimerosal is an old product from the 1920s, and researchers found that it doesn't even keep vaccines uncontaminated in refrigerated conditions, much less unrefrigerated conditions. Excuse me. Now I would like to give you some of the science behind my words, what we call traces or traces in Espanol. Carmen is passing them out. She is a mother of an affected child who is recovering, and she works actively in legislation to ban thimerosal in Chile. We thank you very much for your time and attention.